All right, shalom everyone, and welcome once again to Just a Word as we are here for another Shabbat. As we are looking at the topic 13 deadly sins, step by step destruction of assemblies. Today, we are here for those who are gathered together or those who are interested to gather together. And we are careful to tell people if you are not gathered together, you are in trouble because that is the instruction for us. The Most High wants us to be gathered together. And we are going to look at why we must. It's not on YouTube.
It's on YouTube. I'm seeing it.
Okay, it's on YouTube. You're late. All right, so we're going to look at why we must gather together. We're going to look at why we must be gathered together. We're going to look at so many things. What we are going to do is lay a foundation based on some things that we have done before. So we'll hear some things that we have done before, but we have to set the foundation. The foundation has to be strong. When we get the foundation, then we lay upon the foundation, then you will get more insights and more understanding. Of course, we are in the last day of the Feast of Tabernacles, which is why you see us outside. You can see beautiful skies behind me and clouds, and the big open plain behind me, that is the land of Africa, South Africa, beautiful land of South Africa, as we are here today saying shalom to everyone from all over the world. And we know we are reaching over there in the West, in the United States of America, Babylon, USA. Shalom to you all. All right, so 13 deadly works of the flesh in an assembly, 13 deadly sins that will destroy your set apart assembly. No matter how set apart this assembly is, it will easily be destroyed by these 13 works of the flesh. As we said, we are going to lay a foundation, and we begin the foundation by stating several of what we have stated before. And look into this. Oh, yes. Oh, but the thing is going in your face. The shadow will be coming soon. All right. So I am here with Brother Refumo. And my Lenia says, shalom from the belly of Babylon. Georgia, United States of America, Atlanta, Georgia, the belly of Babylon. Anyway, we begin laying the foundation. To escape judgment, we have to separate ourselves from sin. To escape judgment, we have to separate from sin. Many people do not know Yahuwah. Many people do not know the way of Yahuwah. You cannot be among sinners. Barak is the man that what? Standeth not in the way of sinners. Or sitteth in the seat of... You must not be standing in the way of sinners. You must not be among sinners. My voice is already going and I'm starting. You cannot be among sinners and escape the Most High's judgment. We're going to show you. You must separate yourself from sin. And we're going to show later from sinners. Revelation 18:4. We've done this every week. We do this, but let's go.
Revelations 18:4. And I heard another voice from heaven saying, Come out of her, my people, that ye be not partakers of her sins, and that ye receive not of her plagues.
Now it's very important there. Come out of her. Move away. That ye be not partakers of her sins. So if you are in her, you will be partakers of her sins. Just being there. And if you partake of her sins, you will receive of her plagues. It's very simple. For her sins have reached unto heaven, and Yahuwah hath remembered her iniquities. As soon as Yahuwah remembers, then you know it is time for judgment. We cannot partake of the sins of others. So to escape judgment, we have to separate ourselves from sin. Secondly, to escape judgment, we have to separate ourselves from sinners. Not only sin, but also sinners. Ionia, can you come and turn on these two lights over, please? You have to separate from sin and you have to separate from sinners. Numbers 16, verse 26. This is a principle we have to get. So when we say flee out of the midst of Babylon, because Babylon has fallen, and Babylon is to be destroyed, and you say, the other one, no, we don't have to come out of Babylon. We are going to sit and wait. It means you do not understand how the Most High does or executes his judgment. Numbers 16, verse 26.
And he spake unto the congregation, saying...
No. Start at 25, please. Sorry.
25. And Moshe rose up and went unto Dathan and Abiram, and the elders of Yasharal followed him. And he spake unto the congregation, saying, Depart, I pray you, from the tents of these wicked men, and touch nothing of theirs, lest ye be consumed in all their sins.
So these people were innocent. But the Most High, through Moses, said, Depart, come out of her, my people. I pray you from the tents of these wicked men. So I am innocent, but I am in the tents of these wicked men, and I am touching things of theirs, then I will be consumed with their sins, in their sins. Very simple. Depart. Come out, leave, go, remove from the tents of these wicked men, and don't touch anything of theirs. Because though you're innocent and you touch something of theirs, the Most High is going to say you are partaking of their sins. So when you're in Babylon, going up and down in Babylon, among all these wicked people, touching all sorts of obnoxious things, all sorts of polluted things, if you don't come out, you are going to be consumed in all their sins. It didn't say in their sins, it says in all their sins. That means the Most High is summing up the sins of these people, of Dathan and Abiram, and if we touch anything or if we are among them, all the judgment that is upon all their sins is going to come upon you if you are among them. That is how it is in Babylon, unfortunately or fortunately. 1 Timothy 5:21-22, the principle to escape judgment, we have to separate ourselves from sinners. 1 Timothy 5:21-22. Go ahead, please.
I charge thee before Yahuwah and Yahusha our Mashiach, and the elect angels, that thou observe these things without preferring one before another, doing nothing by partiality. Lay hands suddenly on no man, neither be partaker of other men's sins. Keep thyself pure.
Lay thy hands suddenly on no man. Because if the man is polluted and you touch him, you are partakers of his sin. Neither be partakers of other men's sin. So don't partake in other men's sin. That is why it says depart, remove, come out. You have to set yourself apart from him. Remember, we're laying a foundation. Ephesians 5, verses 5 to 8, to again show that we cannot partake of other men's sin, or else when the judgment is coming, we will partake of the judgment.
Okay. Ephesians 5, verse 5. For this ye know, that no whoremonger, no unclean person, no covetous man, who is an idolater, hath any inheritance in the kingdom of Mashiach of Yahuwah.
So, no idolater. We're going to deal with idolater a little later. Continue.
Let no man deceive you with vain words, for because of these things cometh the wrath of Yahuwah upon the children of disobedience.
Verse 7.
Be not ye therefore partakers with them.
Be not partakers with them. So if these people are covetous and they are idolaters, if they are whoremongers or they are unclean, if you are among them, you are going to be in trouble. Be not partakers with them. Why? Verse 8.
For ye were sometimes darkness, but now are ye light in Adonai. Walk as children of light.
Walk as children of light. So for us, we were in darkness. We woke up and we are now believers walking in light. We have to walk as children of light. We cannot go back into the land of darkness. Okay? Now, when we are going back into the land, we are called to gather ourselves together. When we are going back into the land, we are called to gather ourselves together. We are going to look at how we are looking at it. There will be judgment. To escape judgment, we have to be separated from sinners. To go back into the land now, having separated from sinners, we have to gather ourselves together. Then we are going to look at what can possibly happen when we are gathered together if we are not right, if we are not walking in Yahushua HaMashiach. Zephaniah 2 verse 1. Zephaniah 2 verses 1 to 2. Are you there?
Zephaniah 2 verses 1 to 2.
Yeah.
Gather yourselves together, ye gather together, O nation not desired. Before the decree bring forth, before the day pass as the chaff, before the fierce anger of Yahuwah come upon you, before the day of Yahuwah's anger come upon you.
So we must gather together before the Most High's wrath is executed. Before his wrath, we are called to gather ourselves together. Isaiah 45:20. So we gather before the Most High's wrath. So those of us who say we are fleeing, we do not flee in fear of man, but in fear of our Father, because we are called to gather before his wrath. Notice Zephaniah 2 verse 2 speaks about before the decree bring forth, before the day pass as the chaff, before the fierce anger of Yahuwah come upon you, before the day of Yahuwah's anger come upon you. And why would Yahuwah's anger come upon me, who is righteous in the midst of Babylon? Because I'm in the midst of her, partaking of her sins. So his anger will come upon me because I am in there, sitting in there, partaking of her sins. Isaiah 45:20.
Assemble yourselves and come, draw near together.
Okay, assemble yourselves and come. Assemble yourselves and come. Draw near. How should we draw near? Together. So it is a gathering, people. Anyone on the internet is telling you about don't gather with people, or I am okay. Yahuwah is my keeper. Yahuwah is, that is foolishness. We must be gathered together. It is a gathering together. Why? Because we are perfected together. We have to be tried with other people. We are perfect by ourselves. If we are sitting by ourselves, there's no reason to sin. Yes, because nobody's going to bother us, nobody's going to try us, nobody's going to test us. So the Most High tells us to gather together, so we are in the wilderness of the people, so we try each other, and that is how we are perfected. Assemble yourselves and come, draw near together. Who is he speaking to? Who is he speaking to? Read.
Ye that are escaped of the nations.
Who?
Ye that are escaped of the nations.
Who?
Ye that are escaped of the nations.
You see what we are called to do? Ye that are escaped of the nations. This is us, children of Yashua, who are gathered out of the nations, along with the strangers who sojourn with us. Gather yourselves together. Draw near together. Assemble yourselves and come. And notice it says, assemble yourselves and come. What does that mean? It's the same thing that we are doing. We assemble ourselves together, and then people come. Very simple. You don't scatter yourself and you go, and you're over there, and somebody's over there. You gather yourselves together, and you come. Continue.
They have no knowledge that set up the wood of their graven image, and pray unto a God that cannot save.
They have no knowledge that set up the wood of their graven image. We looked at idolatry last week. We're going to look at it as the beginning, the first of the 13 deadly sins that destroy your assembly. They have no knowledge that set up the wood of their graven image and pray unto an Elohim that cannot save. All right? So as I said before, we are gathered together for the Most High to perfect us, because we must watch. Remember, we did watch. You see, all the teachings come together. Nothing is by coincidence. Everything just comes together and fits in one. All right? We are gathered for the Most High to perfect us. We must watch. Zephaniah 2, verse 3. Zephaniah 2, verse 3. Where are we? Yeah, go ahead.
Seek ye Yahuwah, O ye meek of the earth, which have wrought his judgment. Seek righteousness, seek meekness. It may be ye shall be hid in the day of Yahuwah's anger.
You see this? It may be. But when you look at from verse 2 and from verse 1, it says, gather yourselves together. And then he says, it may be ye shall be hid in the day of Yahuwah's anger. So what he's saying here, gather yourselves together, and those who are perfected will be good. We're going to see in Ezekiel 20, those who are not perfected will be purged. It's very simple. It is gathering together. Simple. And that is how we are perfected, by gathering together. It may be you shall be hid. So there's no guarantee that when you are gathered together, you shall be hid from Yahuwah's anger. It may be. But without gathering together, there is no it may be. For sure, you will be in the midst of Babylon, partaking of her sins and receive of her plagues. Ephesians 4, 11 to 16. As we said, we are laying a foundation based on things we've taught before, till everything comes together, and then we will go into more detail.
Okay. Ephesians 4:11. And he gave some apostles, and some prophets, and some evangelists, and some pastors and teachers, for the perfecting of the saints, for the work of the ministry, for the edifying of the body of Mashiach.
That's it. He gave some apostles. So the Most High gave us apostles, he gave us prophets, he gave us evangelists, and some pastors and teachers. That means, as we've said before, we need pastors and teachers. And pastors and teachers is the same thing. The pastors mean the shepherd, and the teachers means the instructors. It's the same person who shepherds you who will instruct you. You cannot have a shepherd who cannot instruct you. You cannot have sheep, and the shepherd is there dumb, not instructing the sheep. Doesn't know what to do to make the sheep obey. Pastors and teachers, instructors and leaders are the same person. So the Most High gave us those. So we cannot be lone rangers by ourselves. We have to be gathered together. So what we're going to show you today, we're going to show you when we're gathered together, the difference, the danger that happens, the challenges, I should say, that come. And when people hear the challenges, some people might say, oh boy, why should we gather together? We must. It is like we are in a situation in which we have to do it, and we know that doing it will be very, very difficult. So this is for people who intend to gather together with people. These things that I'm telling you here is what we learned, what I learned by my sojourning with people over the past few years. Now, those people who were gathered with us, they did not get this because we were actually learning as we go. But now, so much has been shown, I now get an understanding of all of this. And this is the understanding that I'm giving you. This is teaching. Again, most of the teachings here are by experience. Okay? So he gave some apostles, some prophets, some evangelists, some pastors and teachers Why did he give us that? Verse 12 says, for the perfecting of the saints. Very, very integral. In other words, if you don't have these in verse 11, you cannot be perfected. If you are by yourself without pastors and teachers, how can you be perfected? Because all were given for the perfecting of the saints, for the work of the ministry, for the edifying of the body of Hamashiach, the entire body. Verse 13, until
Till we all come in the unity of the faith and of the knowledge of the Son of Elohim, unto a perfect man, unto the measure of the stature of the fullness of Hamashiach.
There we go. All of these were given for us to come into the unity of the Emunah. How can you be in unity if you are separate from people? You keep yourself separate. How can you be in unity? And you have to ask yourself, why do I want to be separate? We must come in unity and of the knowledge of the Son of Elohim. By yourself, you cannot come into the knowledge of the Son of Elohim. You need others to be with you. You need this. Verse 11. Unto a perfect man. And Hamashiach said, be ye therefore perfect, even as your Father which is in heaven is perfect. You cannot be perfect unless you are gathered together. What verse did I say we're going? 16. Verse 14.
Okay, verse 14. That we henceforth be no more children, tossed to and fro, and carried about with every wind of doctrine, by the sleight of men, and cunning craftiness, whereby they lie in wait to deceive.
You see verse 14 here? This is what is happening today, a famine of the word. Itching ears, people going all over the place, like children, tossed to and fro, carried about with every wind of doctrine. Everything they hear, they believe. They go from one person to the other. They feed here, they feed here. They pick up something here, they pick up something there. You are given pastor and teacher. Everyone is given. The apostles. The apostles are in the scriptures. Sha'ul, Peter, whatever, all of them. The prophets, we read the prophets, the law and the prophets. To the law and to the testimony, if they speak not according to this word, it is because there is no light in them. Evangelists are those who go out and speak the word of the Most High. But then when you hear the word, you have to be gathered. And you are gathered through pastors and teachers. Without that, you will be tossed to and fro, carried about with every wind of doctrine, by the sleight of men, trickery of men, who want money to cash up you, to sell you, to PayPal you, and cunning craftiness whereby they lie in wait to deceive. Verse 15.
But speaking the truth in love, may grow up into him in all things, which is the head, even Hamashiach.
So Hamashiach is the head. And so being the head, Hamashiach speaks through his assembly and administers his assembly through the leaders that he appoints, so that we can grow up into the likeness of him, Hamashiach. So if you're in any assembly and they're not teaching you, Hamashiach is not the core of your teaching, then you are in the wrong place. I'm telling you. The whole aim is for all of us to take on the likeness of Yahushua Hamashiach. Verse 16.
From whom the whole body fitly joined together.
So the whole body is fitted together and joined together to Hamashiach. He is the core of this body. Continue.
And compacted by that which every joint supplieth, according to the effectual working in the measure of every part, maketh increase of the body unto the edifying of itself in love.
So through Hamashiach, we are fitted together compactly with what every one of us supplies. So every one of us has a part to play. Every one of us is given a different gift. Every one of us is given a different role in the body. And each and every one of us coming together, not being by ourselves. We are not given everything. We are made deficient in some things so that somebody else will fit together. It is a body being fit together. It's a puzzle being fit together, and each different piece has its use. If one piece is missing, then the puzzle is broken. Yes? According to the effectual working in the measure of every part. So when you're in an assembly, the role of the leader is to get each person effectively working, playing their part, using their gift to the fullness, to the fulfillment of the perfection of the entire assembly. So that person needs that everybody must be working according to their gift, according to their calling. Maketh increase of the body unto the edifying of itself in love. So when that happens, the body will increase through edification of itself and grow in love. The body is 100% important. We must gather together. We must gather to watch. Luke 21:34.
Luke 21:24. And they shall fall by the edge of the sword, and shall be led away captive into all nations, and Jerusalem shall be trodden down of the Gentiles, until the times of the Gentiles be fulfilled.
All right. No, Luke 21:34. That's what I said?
24.
What
Is
did
it
I say?
34? Oh,
34.
34. Okay. And take heed to yourself, lest at any time your hearts be overcharged with surfeiting, and drunkenness, and cares of this life, and so that the day come upon you unawares.
For as a snare.
For
Continue.
as a snare shall it come on all them that dwell on the face of the whole earth. Watch ye therefore, and pray always, that ye may be counted worthy to escape all these things that shall come to pass, and to stand before the Son of Man.
So we must watch. We must watch, and we must gather ourselves to watch. There is no way you can watch by yourself in Babylon and not be caught up with surfeiting and the drunkenness of Babylon and the cares of this life in Babylon. That is why you have to come out of her, gather yourselves together, and watch. Which is why Revelation 3:8, the Messiah tells you that he leaves you an open door to escape out of the midst of Babylon. Revelation 3:8.
I know thy works. Behold, I have set before thee an open door, and no man can shut it. For thou hast a little strength, and hast kept my word, and hast not denied my name.
Continue.
Behold, I will make them of the synagogue of Satan, which say they are Jews, and are not, but do lie. Behold, I will make them to come and worship before thy feet, and to know that I have loved thee.
Verse 10.
Because thou hast kept the word of my patience, I also will keep thee from the hour of temptation, which shall come upon all the world, to try them that dwell upon the earth. Behold, I come quickly. Hold that fast which thou hast, that no man take thy crown.
So the Messiah says he keeps an open door for the Philadelphia assembly. The assembly that has a little strength, that has kept his word, and has not denied his name. That has kept the word of his patience. He will leave an open door for them. He says, hold that fast which thou hast. In other words, stay firmly where you are, and you will have this open door to escape. And when you escape, you are going to assemble yourselves and come, as it says in Isaiah chapter 45. Where was it again? Assemble, Isaiah 45 verse 20. Assemble yourselves and come, draw near together, ye that are escaped of the nations. This is the door that is left open for the Philadelphia assembly, for them to escape so that they can be gathered together. Here, people, we are living the Bible. We are telling you, we are living the Bible. Almost everything that we read in here about these end times and moving in these end times, we see that we are partakers of it. Yes? Because we have obeyed the Most High's instructions. Now, gathering together helps prevent our destruction in religion. Gathering together helps prevent our destruction in religion. Earlier we had seen where it says about the men deceiving us, cunning craftiness of men. But here, Hebrews 10:24 to 25, no, 24 to 26 shows us that gathering together will prevent our destruction in false religion. Read it, please.
And let us consider one another to provoke unto love and to good works, not forsaking the assembling of ourselves together.
There we go. Let us consider one another to provoke unto love and to good works. One another. We have to be together to consider one another, to provoke unto love and to good works. Yes? Each one of us is there to help the other, to provoke unto love and to good works, not forsaking the assembling of ourselves together. Assemble yourselves and come, as the manner of some is, but exhorting one another, and so much the more as you see the day approaching. This is speaking to us. We are in this world at this time, in this end time. We see the day approaching. We see the day approaching. We are to gather ourselves and to consider one another to provoke unto love and to good works. Because if we do not do that, we are going to fall into willful sin. When you are together, when you are by yourself, there is no measuring stick. There's nothing there to prevent you from sinning. When you're by yourself and nobody's watching you, nobody's there to judge you. Nobody is there to say, hey, brother, that is not right. Brother, you might want to think about that thing. Nobody's there. What are you going to do? You're going to be there and say, you know what? Let me just do it. Most I will understand. Yes? And you will sin willfully. So all that was just said in Hebrews 24, 10, 24, and 25 is to prevent us from sinning willfully, because verse 26 says,
For if we sin willfully after that we have received the knowledge of the truth, there remaineth no more sacrifice for sins, but a certain fearful looking for of judgment and fiery indignation, which shall devour their adversaries.
So because we did not gather together, we ended up sinning willfully. Judgment is awaiting us. So to avoid that, we gather ourselves together to help one another, to encourage one another. Now, when we are gathered in the end times, the Most High will plead with us. The Most High will plead with us. And after this, we're going to look at what it means to plead with us. Ezekiel 20, verse 34.
Ezekiel 20, verse 34
to 35.
to 35. And I'll bring you out from the people, and will gather you out of the countries wherein you are scattered, with a mighty hand and with a stretched out arm, and with fury poured out. And I'll bring you into the wilderness of the people, and there will I plead with you face to face.
How does he plead with us? We're going to look at it. How does he plead with us? Verse 36.
Like as I pleaded with your fathers in the wilderness of the land of Egypt, so will I plead with you, saith Yahuwah Alua.
Like as I pleaded with your fathers in the land of Egypt. We are going to show how the Most High pleads with us by giving the example of how he pleaded with Yasharal when they went over into Egypt. No, how he pleaded with Egypt when Yasharal went over into Egypt. And the Most High pleaded with them. We're going to see how he pleaded with them, and we're going to see how he will plead with us in this end time. Look at the same principle. The Most High used Nebuchadnezzar to plead with Pharaoh. Nebuchadnezzar was his tool to plead with Pharaoh. What does it mean to plead with us face to face? That is what we're looking at. What does it mean to plead with us face to face? Ezekiel 17, 15 to 20.
Ezekiel 17, 15 to 20. But he rebelled against him in sending his ambassador into Egypt.
That he there is Yasharal, rebelled against Yahuwah. Continue.
that they might give him horses and much people. Shall he prosper? Shall he escape that doeth such things? Or shall he break the covenant and be delivered? As I live, saith Yahuwah Lua, surely in the place where the king dwelleth, that made him king, whose oath he despised, and whose covenants he brake, even with him in the midst of Babylon he shall die.
So this now, if you look at this, as I live, it is the same as I live that he said in Ezekiel 20, when he said the wilderness of the people where he would plead with them face to face. The same as I live, he swore. And he said it's about the covenant which they broke. And in Ezekiel 20, he says you will bring them in the bond of the covenant. Same principle. So this is Babylon. Verse 17.
Neither shall Pharaoh with his mighty army and great company make for him in the war, by casting up mounts and building forts to cut off many persons, seeing he despised the oath by breaking the covenant, when, lo, he had given his hand, and had done all these things, he shall not escape.
Therefore,
thus saith Yahuwah Lua, as
I live, there is the as I live again.
Surely mine oath that he hath despised, and my covenant that he hath broken, even it will I recompense upon his own head.
It's the same thing with the second Exodus. He says, I will plead with you face to face, and I will purge out from among you the rebels and them that transgress against me. It's the same principle here. Continue in verse 20.
And I will spread my net upon him, and he shall be taken in my snare, and I will bring him to Babylon, and will plead with him there for his trespass that he hath trespassed against me.
Here we have that pleading. He will bring Pharaoh to Babylon, and there in Babylon will he plead with Pharaoh or Pharaoh. Okay. Now, how did he plead with Pharaoh or Pharaoh? How did he plead with Pharaoh? Ezekiel 30, verse 24 to 25. How did he plead with Pharaoh? Go ahead.
Okay. And it came to pass in the 11th year, in the first month, in the 7th day of the month, that the word of Yahuwah came unto
Ezekiel 30, verse 24.
24. Okay.
Yes.
And I will strengthen the arms of the king of Babylon, and put my sword in his hand. But I will break Pharaoh's arms, and he shall groan before him with the groanings of a deadly wounded man.
There we go. This is how the Most High pleaded with Pharaoh. He used Nebuchadnezzar. He used Babylon to plead with Pharaoh. And I will strengthen the arms of the king of Babylon, but I will break Pharaoh's arms. So when you are in the wilderness of the people, he is going to use the leaders to plead with you. When he says face to face, it means that his ruach will be in the leader, and it is through the leader that he will plead with you. People, do err. When you come together, people, never, ever, 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 ever go against the leader. Never, ever, ever. No matter how incompetent or if you think you're wise and wiser than the leader, never, ever go against the leader. Because it is through the leader that the Most High is going to test you, is going to plead with you through the leader. He brought Pharaoh to Babylon in front of Nebuchadnezzar. And read verse 24 again into 25.
And I will strengthen the arm of the king of Babylon, and put my sword in his hand. But I will break Pharaoh's arms, and he shall groan before him with the groanings of a deadly wounded man.
I will break Pharaoh's arms. So the Most High literally comes and break it? No, he does it through Nebuchadnezzar. Verse 25.
But I will strengthen the arms of the king of Babylon, and the arms of Pharaoh shall fall down, and they shall know that I, Yahuwah, when I shall put my sword into the hand of the king of Babylon, And he shall stretch it out upon the land of Egypt.
This is how he pleads. This is how he pleads with Pharaoh. Of course, I'll break the Pharaoh's arms means the strength of Pharaoh, figuratively. But it is the Most High who is going to use Babylon to deal with Pharaoh. That is how and what it means to plead with Pharaoh. All right? So the Most High will use his leaders in the wilderness of the people to plead with his people. So when you see this, remember the leaders who the Most High has called. Remember, he said, your eyes will see your teachers, and your ears will hear a word behind you. This is the way, walk ye in it when you turn to the right and when you turn to the left. And he says, I will give you pastors after mine own heart, that will feed you with understanding. These are the teachers, and the leaders, and the pastors. Ezekiel 20, verse 37. When you see this, now you should understand what it means. Ezekiel 20, verse 37 to 38.
And I will cause you to pass under the rod, and I'll bring you into the bond of the covenant. And I'll purge out from among you the rebels, and them that transgress against me. I will bring them forth out of the country where they sojourn, and they shall not enter into the land of Yasharal.
And ye shall know that I am
Yahuwah Alua.
Ye shall know that I am the Most High. I will purge out from among you the rebels and them that transgress against me. I will bring them forth out of the country where they sojourn, and they shall not enter into the land of Yasharal. So when we come out and we are gathered together, we have this to face, the pleading. Now, after pleading with his people, the Most High will exalt the remnant. Let's go back to Ezekiel 17, 21 to 24, and then we're going to go back to Ezekiel 20, 41 to 42 to see the same principle. Most High never changes. After pleading with his people, the Most High will exalt the righteous remnant that remains.
Ezekiel 17,
21.
21. And all his fugitives with all his bands shall fall by the sword, and they that remain shall be scattered toward all the winds. And ye shall know that I, Yahuwah Alua, have spoken it.
Continue.
Thus saith Yahuwah Alua, I will also take of the highest branch of the high cedar, and will set it. I will crop off from the top of his young twigs a tender one, and will plant it upon an high mountain and eminent.
So this is speaking about Yahusha, but it's also doubly speaking about the end time nation of Yasharal. So after all of this is done, Yasharal went to Egypt, and the Most High punished Egypt. Now after he has punished Egypt, what does he do? He now exalts the remnant of his people. Verse 23.
In the mountain of the height of Yasharal will I plant it, and it shall bring forth boughs and bear fruit, and bear goodly cedar, and under it shall dwell all fowl of every wing. In the shadow of the branches thereof shall they dwell.
All right. Continue.
And all the trees of the field shall know that I, Yahuwah, have brought down the high tree,
Brought down the exalted nations.
have exalted the low tree, have dried up the green tree, and have made the dry tree to flourish. I, Yahuwah, have spoken and have done it.
So the high tree, the exalted nations, I've exalted the low tree, which is us. I've dried up the green tree, the prosperous tree, and I've made the dry tree to flourish, and we are the dry tree that he has made to flourish. All right? Same principle in Ezekiel 20, verses 41 to 42. After he has purged out the rebels, what does he say?
I will accept you with your sweet savor when I bring you out from the people and gather you out of the countries wherein ye have been scattered, and I will be sanctified in you before the heathen. And ye shall know that I am Yahuwah, when I shall bring you into the land of Yasharal, into the country for that which I lifted up mine hand to give it to your fathers.
All right. Oh, this microphone is going to be too low, as I'm not hearing your voice at all. Anyway,
Did I change my voice?
no, I'm not seeing it there. But it's a microphone thing. If I use the other microphone, all of that noise in the background will be in it anyway. So, all right. So where are we again?
Ezekiel 20,
Yes,
41, 42.
Yes. And ye shall know that I am Yahuwah when I shall bring you into the land of Yasharal, into the country for the which I lifted up my hand to give it to your fathers. So after all that we have gone through the purging, then he will bring us into the land. This is why we are gathered together, people. We have to be gathered together to go through the purging, and after the purging, we will be brought into the land. Now, important that in the New Testament, because we're just speaking about Old Testament, in the New Testament, we have to separate from sinners who are gathered with us. So after gathering ourselves together, we have to separate from sinners who are gathered with us. 1 Corinthians 5, 9 to 13. This is what it means when he says, I will purge out from among you the rebels. Yeah? He will be the one to take the rebels out.
Okay.
Read, please.
I wrote unto you in an epistle, not to company with fornicators, yet not altogether with the fornicators of this world, or with the covetous, or exhorters, or with idolaters, for then must ye needs go out of the world. But now I have written unto you not to keep company. If any man that is called a brother be a fornicator, or covetous, or an idolater, or a railer, or a drunkard, or an extortioner, with such an one no not to eat.
So, if our brother is sinful and caught up in all of these sins, he has to be taken out from among us. So this is not church, a hospital for sinners. The Most High's assembly is a place for righteous people in which sinners are taken out. Not a place where sinners come and are comfortable and take their seats. Because that is why you have the farce that is called church today, the Christian church, because they leave the sinners in there and the sinners pollute those who are striving after righteousness. And one pollution, one bad apple spoils the bunch, as Ziona said to me today. One bad apple spoils the bunch, and so it gets from worse to worse to worse. When we are in an assembly and we see unrighteous people they won't take correction, they won't make changes, they are just set in their ways, we have to say goodbye. And it was nice being with you, but we have to part. This is something that I've learned over time. Not something that I've actively done, but now the Most High has shown me over the past few months, this has to be done. We cannot be there thinking, okay, maybe they will change, maybe this, maybe that. 1 month later, 2 months later, 3 months, nothing, you got to depart. Let these people depart. It says, with such an one, no, not to eat, not even to eat with them. This is New Testament, not even to eat with them. This is serious. I know that this is why we get bitten. Let me just say a little thing here. This is why we get bitten. Because the Most High, through His Word, has warned us about this. And we do not take heed. Yeah? We do not take heed. That is why we get bitten by sinful believers. Anyway. So if anyone becomes corrupt among us, we have to put them out. Go to 2 Corinthians 6, 14 to 18. If anyone gets corrupt among us, We have to put them out. It is not unrighteous. And they will look on you, oh, where's the love? Oh, where's the righteousness? No, where's the righteousness? Yeah, that is unrighteous. No, you got to put them out. So says the New Testament. So said Sha'ul. So said Rakakadosh. 2 Corinthians 6:14 to 18.
Be ye not unequally yoked together with unbelievers. For what fellowship hath righteousness with unrighteousness? And what communion hath light with darkness?
So when you see people in the assembly, sometimes you're gathered together with people in an assembly. And then you look and say, but these people are not believers. These people are no different from sinners. This is it. Unequally yoked together with unbelievers. It's not that they're not mentioning the Most High or mentioning the Messiah. It's not that they're not talking about it. Are you hearing me through this? You're hearing me through this?
Yes.
Huh? You're hearing me through the
Yes.
speaker? Okay. All right. So it's not that they don't believe at all. It's that they believe, but they have unbelief in them. Verse 15.
And what concord hath Mashiach with Belial? For what part hath he that believeth with an infidel? And what agreement hath the temple of Yahuwah with idols? For ye are the temple of the living Elohim, as Elohim hath said, I will dwell in them and walk in them, and I will be their Elohim, and they shall be my people.
Wherefore, unbelievers, continue, wherefore,
Wherefore,
Verse
wherefore
17.
come out from among them, and be ye separate, saith Yahuwah, and touch not the unclean thing, and I will receive you.
touch not the unclean thing. Come out from among them and be separate. You see it again? Whenever there are sinners, we have to separate ourselves from sinners. Don't follow the Christian thing about being in a hospital for sinners. We have to separate ourselves from sinners. That is the only way the Most High will receive us. Wherefore, come out from among them and be ye separate, saith Yahuwah, and touch not the unclean thing, and I will receive you. So if we are not separate, if we are partakers of the unclean thing, he will not receive us. And if he receives us, then verse 18 says,
I will be a father unto you, and ye shall be my sons and daughters, saith Elohim the Almighty.
so you see, the only way the Most High says he will be a father if you separate yourselves from sinners. Very consistent. Very, very consistent. So, let's look at the prerequisites for being a true believer. We're just going to rush through them because we speak about them so many times. Prerequisites for being a true believer, but we need to lay a foundation as to why believers go off. Matthew 16:24 to 27. Prerequisites for a true believer. These are who we're talking about, who should be gathered together. Not religious people, true believers. Read it, please.
Then said Yahusha unto his disciples, If any man will come after me, let him deny himself and take up his stake and follow me.
Boy, you must be tired of hearing this. Boy, oh boy, you must be tired of hearing me saying this. Verse 25, but this. Don't be tired of hearing it because this is salvation right here. Without this, no salvation. If you have not denied yourself, where is the salvation? Because he says if you cannot be his disciple if you don't do it. Verse 25.
For whosoever will save his life shall lose it, and whosoever will lose his life for my sake shall find it.
So losing our lives for his sake is denying ourselves, giving up our lives to be used whichever way the Most High wants it to be used. Continue.
For what is a man profited if he shall gain the whole world and lose his own soul? Or what shall a man give in exchange for his soul?
All right. So you must not even think about your soul, not even afraid of your life. Yes? No fear of your life whatsoever, because if you lose your life for Yahusha's sake, you shall find it. Luke 14:26 to 27 and 33. All of these are prerequisites. These are believers who should be gathered together. Okay? Luke 14:26. You're there?
Yes.
Go ahead.
If any man come to me and hate not his father and mother and wife and children and brethren and sisters, yea, and his own life also, he cannot be my disciple.
Hey, let me tell you something. The amount of people, or the amount of times people have come to me making decisions and talking about their family member preventing them from doing this and doing that. Why is this so low? Yeah. And talk about family members. Their decisions are based on family members. I can't just do this. I can't just do that with my family. I can't just do that. And sometimes I don't even say anything. Why? Because I cannot teach Emunah. The words are there, plain and straight, and people want to avoid the words and look on you as you're being as if you're being unreasonable to expect certain things from them. But the word is there. If any man come to me and hate not his father and mother and wife and children and brethren and sisters, yea, and his own life also, he cannot be my disciple. Read verse 27, please.
And whosoever doth not bear his stake and come after me cannot be my disciple.
So people, judge for yourself. Judge for yourself. If you, this from Matthew 24 that we just, Matthew 16:24, right onto all this that we're going to read now. If you're not there, don't even think about gathering yourselves with people. You have to get there first in Emunah. You have to reach, you have to have denied yourself. Okay? Or else, when you gather with people, Mashiach will not be with you. And if Mashiach is not with you, then Belial is going to have charge of you. And there is going to be a huge problem. Read verse 33.
33. So likewise, whosoever he be of you that forsaketh not all that he hath, he cannot be my disciple.
This right here is a call to flee out of Babylon. People are considering all their possessions, all that they have worked for all their lives. And that is the decision. How can I just leave this? How can I? How can I? Here we go. Mashiach is expecting you to, as a prerequisite to being his disciple. This is a judgment. You see this call to flee out of Babylon? It is such a dangerous call. Look at it right here. These verses that we just looked at, that's exactly it. Look, the first one here, where is it? Verse 26. If any man come to me and hate not his father and mother and wife and children and boom, this is fleeing out of Babylon. Because you might have to go on your own. Your family does not want to go. Your family is against it. Your family is fighting against it. Your mother doesn't agree. Your father doesn't agree. Your sister doesn't agree. Hey, they're coming to you and talking all sorts of things. No. They don't agree. Your children don't agree. What do? If you bow to them, you cannot be Yahusha's disciple. And whosoever does not bear his stake and come after me cannot be my disciple. What does it mean to bear his stake? To take up the troubles that come. How many people? No, when they're talking about fleeing Babylon, what are they asking about? Do you have any such and such there? Is there such and such? Kazak, can I meet with you and you ask you some questions about it? Pick up, bear your stake. You don't even know what's there. You don't even know what's ahead. This is bearing the stake and be willing to take any problem, any trial, any test, anything that comes with it. This is it right here. No. Verse 33 now. Likewise, whosoever he be of you that forsaketh not all that he hath. This is the possessions now when you're leaving Babylon. Fleeing out of Babylon is a test right here to be Yahusha's disciple. It's very plain and simple. Cannot be his disciple. Anyway, let's carry on. John 15:4-6.
John 15:4-6. Abide in me, and I in you.
Hold on, let me get them. Go ahead.
Abide in me, and I in you. As the branch cannot bear fruit of itself, except it abide in the vine, No more can ye, except ye abide in me. I am the vine, ye are the branches. He that abideth in me, and I in him, the same bringeth forth much fruit. For without me ye can do nothing.
The word abide there means rest, remain, dwell, tarry, stay in Yahusha HaMashiach. It's all about Yahusha HaMashiach. Continue.
If a man abide not in me, he is cast forth as a branch, and is withered. And men gather them and cast them into the fire, and they are burned.
So if you are not striving, if you are not walking as Yahusha walked, or at least striving to be walking as he walked, then you are wasting your time. 1 John 2, verse 6. Because he just said we have to abide in him, and if we don't abide in him, then we are like a branch ready to be burned. What does it mean to abide in him? 1 John 2, 6.
He that saith he abideth in him
ought himself also so to walk,
so even as he walked.
even as he walked. So there we go. If we are not walking as Yahusha walked, then what are we doing? Thinking we can be his disciple. This walk here is very simple, but religion has muddied up every single thing. So why do we have to first deny ourselves? Let's get more understanding now. Why do we first have to deny ourselves? It is because of the sinful nature in us. Remember, this is another teaching that we did the other day. Everything in one, everything that's fitting together. The sinful nature in us. Read Romans 7:22-23.
For I delight in the law of Yahuwah after the inward man, but I see another law in my members, warring against the law of my mind, and bringing me into captivity to the law of sin, which is in my members.
Now, this is for these people who say they love the law and all of that. Yes? And they don't realize that there is something bigger inside of them that makes them unable to obey the law. Unable. This is for those people who love to stay by themselves, separate themselves, yes? Not willing to be corrected, not willing to be exhorted, not willing to be rebuked and to be reproved. These are those people, because they are going to be thinking that reading the scriptures is their salvation. So they will be studying the scriptures and know the scriptures and all of that. But they don't realize that there is a law of sin inside of them. That when they want to do good, they delight in the law of Yahuwah. They love the law. But you're not going to be able to walk in the righteousness of the law because of the law of sin that is inside of you. I see another law in my members, warring against the law of my mind and bringing me into captivity of the law of sin, which is in my members. In your body, in your flesh, there is a law that is fighting against you doing that which is right. And as a result, because of this sinful nature that we have, as a result, what happens? Galatians 5:17. As a result of this sinful nature, this is what ends up happening to us.
For the flesh lusteth against the spirit, and the spirit against the flesh, and these are contrary to one to another,
so that ye cannot do the things that ye would. You can't do them, because the law of sin is in operation, and the flesh is lusting against the ruach, and the ruach against the flesh. Being contrary one to the other, you cannot do the things that you would. That is why you need to come together. You come together and you are perfected together. So the flesh overpowers us. But how does the flesh overpower us? To the law of sin and death. Romans 7:15-21. This is a summary of the past few teachings that we have had so far. Romans 7:15-21. This is why we are in captivity.
For that which I do, I allow not. For what I would, that I do that do I not, but what I hate, that do I.
We could stop there. What I hate, do I. We have a lot to do, and maybe stop it there. That which I do, I allow not. So what I want to do, I cannot do it. And what I want to do, I don't do it. But what I hate, that is what I do. You can read the rest up to 21. This is how the flesh overpowers us. Yes? So, no, we have to go down to Mashiach. Continue it, please.
Okay. If then I do that which I would not, I consent unto the law that is good. Now then it is no more that I do it, but sin that dwelleth in me. For I know that in me, that is, in my flesh, dwelleth no good thing. For to will is present with me, but how to perform that which is good I find not. For the good that I would I do not, but the evil which I would not, that I do. Now if I do that I would not, it is no more it is no more I that do it, but sin that dwelleth in me.
This is a verse here, verse 21.
I find then a law that when I would do good, evil is present with me. For
When I would do good, evil is present with me. This is why, my people, you have to deny self. As long as the self is there, when you would do good, evil is going to present itself. Yes? Yeah. So, believers have to be walking in the Ruach. Believers have to be walking in the Ruach. Galatians 5:16-17. Summary of maybe the past 5 or so teachings. Putting all of them in one to make it all make sense together.
this I say then, walk in the Spirit, and ye shall not fulfill the lust of the flesh. For the flesh lusteth against the Spirit, and the Spirit against the flesh, and these are contrary to one to the other, so that ye cannot do the things that ye will.
So the only solution to overcome this desire, this sinful nature that is in our members, in our body, the only solution is to walk in the Ruach. Then the flesh will not have dominion over us, and we will be able to walk in the righteousness of the Torah. Now, if we are walking in the Ruach, then we will be led by the Ruach. John 3:5-8. If we are walking in the Ruach, then we will be led. We are not walking blindly. We will be led by the Ruach. And when I say led by the Ruach, it means that we will not be the ones who are in charge. We will not be the one who is directing us. We don't even know where we're going. This is how you're walking in the Ruach. You don't know where you are going. For the past umpteen months, the Most High has had me in a position I didn't even know where I was going. But He showed me, sit and keep quiet and allow me to do my thing. And then He showed me and directed me, and I was surprised, shocked when He showed me where I was going. This is how the Most High works. John 3:5-8.
Yahusha answered, Verily, verily, I say unto thee, except a man be born of water and of the Spirit, he cannot enter into the kingdom of Elohim. That which is born of the flesh is flesh, and that which is born of the Spirit is spirit. Marvel not that I said unto thee, ye must be born again.
So this is how you know someone is born of the Ruach. Verse 8.
The wind bloweth where it listeth, and thou hearest the sound thereof, but cannot tell whence it cometh, and whither it goeth. So is everyone that is born of the Spirit.
So everyone that is born of the Ruach, they hear the sound, the instruction as what to do, but they don't know where it is coming from and where it is going. They don't know where it is taking them and where they will end up. This is those who are born of the Ruach. When you are living life like this, then it means you have denied self. You have put yourself on autopilot, as it were, You don't know where you are directed to. You don't know what is going to happen tomorrow. You don't know what's going to happen next week. But wherever you are brought, that is where you're going. That is how it is when you are born or led by the Ruach. Now, walking in the Ruach, we will also bear the fruit of the Ruach. We're showing you people step by step the way to righteousness, the way to being a righteous believer. Righteous believers who should be gathered together. Galatians 5:22.
But the fruit of the Spirit is love, joy, peace, long-suffering, gentleness, goodness, faith, meekness, temperance. Against such there is no law. And they that are Mashiachs have crucified the flesh with the affections and lusts.
So yes, there's a battle. There's a battle that takes place. A competition between the fruit of the Ruach and the flesh with its affections and lusts. So the flesh with its affections and lusts will be fighting against the Ruach. Now when you're walking in the fruit of the Ruach, then you would have crucified the flesh with its affections and lusts, and you can now walk in the Ruach, and you can walk in righteousness before the Most High, and you can walk in obedience to the law. Now, if you are walking in the Ruach, you will be guided into all truth. You will be guided into all truth. What a long foundation we took to lay. We're almost done with the foundation. If you are walking in the Ruach, we will be guided into all truth. John 16:13.
Howbeit, when he, the Spirit of truth, is come, he will guide you into all truth. For he shall not speak of himself, but whatsoever he shall hear, he shall speak. That shall he speak, and he will show you things to come.
I have said it before. Most people today are not led by the Ruach. Most people today have not denied themselves, but still expect to be led by the Ruach, thinking they are led by the Ruach. That's the deception today. Because we have a famine of the word. And when I look online and see how many people are there, all sorts of foolishness that is going on and being taught. Yes? Who is being guided into all truth? And so many people defending and believing all of these foolishness. Why are they not being guided into all truth? Why is the Ruach not guiding them into all truth? Because most people do not have the Ruach, and the reason most do not have the Ruach, because most did not stop to obey. When Mashiach said, if any man come after me, let him deny himself. We did not obey denying self. And if you don't deny self, how can you be his disciple? If you don't deny self, how can you receive the gift of his Ruach? And without the Ruach, you cannot be guided into all truth. You will be guided into lies. Worse, you disobeyed the command to gather yourselves together. When you could have gotten help from an assembly, you were on your own, being tossed to and fro like little children by the cunning sleight of men, taken all over the place as they take you for merchandise. Yes? You have to go and deny self and walk in the Ruach. So if we are not walking in the Ruach, we will be walking in the works of the flesh. If we are not walking in the Ruach, we will be walking in the works of the flesh. Remember Galatians 5:19. Let's go there. Where is it? Galatians 5:19. We're looking today now. We finally finished the foundation. 13 deadly sins. And I think we looked at these the other day. But when I realized it, I said, this has to go out to everyone. So we looked at this in our morning teaching here. Galatians 5:19-21.
Now the works of the flesh are manifest, which are these: adultery, fornication, uncleanness, lasciviousness, idolatry, witchcraft, hatred, variance, emulations, wrath, strife, seditions, heresies, envyings, murderers, drunkenness, revilings, revelings, and such like, of which I tell you before, as I have told you in time past, that they which do such things shall not inherit the kingdom of Allah.
So, we want to look at 13 of these from verses 20 to 21. And we're going to show step by step how these sins in order, step by step, destroys assemblies. Yes? Destroys assemblies, starting from idolatry. Now, before I go ahead with this, I have to say, the greatest problem in an assembly of believers is self-justification. I am right and you are wrong. The greatest problem, I am right, you are wrong. When we are right, we act as if we undermine others who we think might be wrong. And you ask, what about Yahuwah? Because we have lived our life of sin, of dirtiness, of being wrong so many times. And we look to the Most High, and when we're wrong, we turn to the Most High and we pray and we ask forgiveness and everything. And the Most High forgives us. But then, when someone we think transgresses against us, we turn and act as if it is the worst thing in the world, and that person is the worst person in the world. Yes? We look at them with disdain, forgetting about the Most High, forgetting how the Most High forgave us, our dirty selves. But now, when we are in an assembly with people and people transgress, we have to show that we are right, and we have to show that they are wrong. Yes, you'll show someone that they are wrong in order to correct them, in order to help them, but not to belittle them, nor to condemn them. Yes? And you ask yourself, what about Mashiach? Because Mashiach, when he reviled not again. His life was a life of suffering. So why, when we come together, we have to be hitting at each other? We cannot forgive one another. When he said we should forgive 70 times 7. We cannot even have a little mercy. When James said, he will show no mercy on those who don't have mercy. What is wrong with us? But this is the problem in assemblies. And this has been my experience. Everybody looking on people. Some even after they leave the assembly, for years they have up the person for something. Yes? So Yahuwah and Yahusha are forgotten. Why? Because self is not denied. I want you to understand what we're saying here. If you don't deny self, you are going to have to appease yourself. So when you come together with people and you see an opportunity to appease the flesh, to appease the self, you are going to do it at the expense of the other person, mercilessly against the other person and against the assembly. I've been gathered with people sometimes, and when I see them act, and I'm saying, these people don't care about the assembly. They don't care whether they bring the assembly to a halt. They don't care whether everybody in the assembly is depressed because of them. In fact, it makes them seem happy to be able to make everybody miserable. Why? Self is not denied. And these people normally are the Torah people. These are the people who look on what you do and say, that is not righteous. Hey, that is not righteousness. That is not righteous. Criticize what you do. Why? They want to score a point when you make an error. They want to score a point whenever you make an error. They feel good within themselves. Yes, I got him for something. Yes, I got her for something. That has nothing to do with the way. It has nothing to do with Yahuwah. And these are the people who we have to try to not get into your assembly in the first place. In the first place. to not even be gathered with people like this. You have to know people. I'm speaking to anyone out there who might have an assembly or might want to be starting an assembly or want to be a part of an assembly. You cannot let these people take a foothold in the assembly, because when these persons take a foothold in the assembly, it is Satan that has taken a foothold in the assembly. Because in no time you're going to see these people change. They're going to be hypocritical and present themselves as being nice and ready and the true person and everything. And in no time you'll see the true colors push forth their head. Yes? I am right and you are wrong. Self-righteousness. Self-righteousness. 1 Corinthians 6, verse 7. So when you're assembled together with people, first things first, if you are not willing to take wrong when you are right, don't go and assemble with other people. If you are not willing to be disadvantaged, to be trampled upon, do not go and gather with people. If you still have pride and your pride will be hurt, do not go and gather with other people. And it has been my experience, and I have declared, I don't want any unrighteous people gathering with me. And when I say righteous, I am not perfect. I am not telling you I'm perfect or anything, but I'm striving for perfection. We want people who are striving for protection, who will take correction. Yes? People who are striving for perfection, who are striving for the kingdom, and will do anything for the kingdom, even take embarrassment. Pride has no place in the Most High's kingdom. 1 Corinthians 6, verse 7, please.
Now therefore there is utterly a fault among you, because you go to the law one with another.
You go to law. Here we go again with this law. That is not righteous. Yeah? These people are always the Torah people who live in the Torah, looking for things to convict people. Just like when you take you're a lawyer and you go into the law book and you try to find, let me see what I can get on him. Or a policeman goes into the law book and say, hey, let me see what I can convict him on. That is how these people act. 1 Corinthians 6, verse 7.
Why do ye not rather take wrong? Why do ye not rather suffer yourselves to be defrauded?
You see the perfection? You have to be willing to take wrong. You have to be willing to be defrauded. That is righteousness. Instead of going to the law and looking the law, oh, remember the law says this and that, and da 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 da. Do you think the Most High feels good when you go to the law and convict someone as much as when you allow yourself to be wronged even when you're right? And when we say this, we are not saying that that person will be wrong and you leave the wrong. We are saying, for the sake of peace, say, okay, all right. And then you find a way to speak to the person, to let them think, to get to their conscience, to let them know that, hey, you know, probably what I said was not right. That's how you do it, in love. Yes? You got something?
No.
Okay. All right, so we're going to look at the 13 deadly sins. And we're going to do them in order as it's. Look at this. Galatians 5:20. We're going to do it in the same order. Idolatry, then witchcraft, then hatred, then variance, then emulations, then wrath, then strife, then seditions, then heresies, then envies, then murders, then drunkenness, then revelings. Hey, that same order we're going to do them in. Let's begin with idolatry. Idolatry. The noun idolatry. Pluralidolatries. Whatever that is pronounced. Idolatry is the worship of a physical object as Elohim. Don't tell me that we're cut off somewhere. You got cut off? Hello? Okay. Okay. I think maybe it's because of the. All right. So the two mics causing feedback. All right. right. So this now, let's come here. All right. Yeah. So the worship of a physical object as Elohim. And that physical object, of course, can be ourselves. And this is what we're going to use today when we are the idol. Now, we become the idol when everything is focused on us, when we do not deny ourselves. If we deny ourselves, we take away ourselves as being idols, because denying ourselves means we put ourselves outside of the realm of importance. But when we do not deny ourselves, then we make ourselves into idols, because in not denying ourselves, the sinful man is going to demand his attention, is going to demand his way, and that is going to be idolatry, because if the sinful man cannot get his way, that sinful man is going to be like a little child who is going to bug everyone until he gets his way. That is idolatry. Colossians 3 verse 5 says,
Colossians 3 verse 5. Mortify therefore your members which are upon the earth, fornication, uncleanness, inordinate affections, evil, how do you say that word?
evil concupiscence,
Concupiscence and covetousness, which is idolatry.
and covetousness, which is idolatry. Now, covetousness, when you covet something, is when you want something that is not yours and you desperately want to have it. That is idolatry. That is why I say we can make ourselves idols, because when we want something, our sinful man wants something, the sinful man will go out of its way, and that is covetousness, and we will go a whoring after whatever we want. Now, this idolatry comes from Babylon. Today, for us today, idolatry comes from Babylon, including its covetousness. Jeremiah 51:12 tells us about Babylon and its covetousness. Read it, please.
Jeremiah 51:12. Set up the standard upon the walls of Babylon. Make the watch strong. Set up the watchmen. Prepare the ambushes. For Yahuwah hath both devised and done that which he spake against the inhabitants of Babylon.
13.
O thou that dwellest upon many waters, abundant in treasures, thine end is come, and the measure of thy covetousness.
So Babylon is full of covetousness. If you want covetousness, that is what we learn in Babylon. Yes? They gave us all the fancy things and then give us advertisement. They're speaking about how they do it today, and give us advertisement to let us covet whatever we desire. That is idolatry. And I have been through all these years that I've been through, and I have been with people who said they have fled out of Babylon, but Babylon is still there. It is the covetousness. The hardest thing to get over is the goods in Babylon. And that is why now we have been alerted as to the food. It gives me great pleasure, at least. Don't think when we say, oh, we cannot eat this. For example, when we have all the food and all my favorite foods, see being dumped. Yes? I did not feel any way about it. Why? Because I know the power of covetousness upon us when we flee Babylon. When people flee Babylon and they come, for example, here to South Africa, and the most I choose a very perfect location with that halal thing.
Yes.
Very perfect location. When they come here and they see that they can get, you can go into town. I take half an hour or so from here to get into town. But they go into town, they can get whatever they want. Yes? At cheaper prices, because the money has more power here. At cheaper prices than they would normally get it. And people just get away and just buy. Covetousness. Some people buy even things that they do not want. Covetousness. And that covetousness from Babylon comes here and stays with them. No. You see where the Most High is taking us. Even with the clothing. Every single thing, the Most High is setting us apart. It is actually taking us away from the midst of Babylon, away from the food, away from the clothing, away from every single thing in Babylon, purging the idolatry from us. But this idolatry in people, which is covetousness, this covetousness in people, when you are gathered together with people, the problem begins with covetousness. The problem begins with idolatry, with making themselves idols. And so, when certain things happen, that is why I am right and you are wrong. It's such a big issue. Why? Proud, idol. This idol is right. You are wrong. Yeah? Cannot even say, okay, no problem. It's good. It's all right. Cannot even say that. No. The proud, sinful man stands up. So the first thing, evaluation, is that person idolatrous? Has that person given up on Babylon? You see, if you're gathered together with people who have physically left Babylon but spiritually have not left it, it's going to be horror. Take it, I'm an expert in this. I've become an expert in this Babylon thing now. Trust me, and people who say they have fled Babylon. Yes? So idolatry is the first step. The first step. If that person is not willing to give up on self, to deny self, then all the trouble is going to start there. Okay? It begins with idolatry. Then it goes to witchcraft. Now, witchcraft is very interesting. Witchcraft, we know the regular things, the use of sorcery or magic, communication with the devil or with a familiar ruach. We know all of that. But witchcraft can also refer to an irresistible influence or fascination. An irresistible influence or fascination. So when that person is idolatrous, that person might have an irresistible influence. Something might have an irresistible influence on that person. I've been with people in which food has been that witchcraft, that irresistible influence. Yes? Been together with people and we have studied and we've seen, hey, this food is polluted. But this person is so addicted to the food, what do? Go and hide, buy and eat the food. And sinners, South African people who are sinners, who know us, see them eating and come and say, but Kazakh, I thought you were not supposed to eat such and such. Seriously. Blaspheming the Most High's name. Bringing down the Most High's name. Yeah, this has happened already. Yeah. So, an irresistible influence or fascination. Now, we have had and we have gone through split in our assembly. What we are going to show is this whole process. Yes? We're going to move it away from food and move it towards, what do you call it? Control of the assembly. Now, when someone is idolatrous, that person will focus only on themselves. There are some men that speak, I don't want any man to lead me. Some men say that. They will come in your assembly, they will be there for a while, and then sometimes they start now wanting to be in control. This is a process here, people, when assemblies are destroyed. So it begins with idolatry. They are focused on themselves. They are too high to come down low. They are too high to be humbled, to be led by another man. So they have an irresistible influence. Something has an irresistible influence or fascination with them, and that usually is an assembly. They want an assembly for themselves. Okay? So when they are there with you, focusing on themselves, they will be there for a while. Some of them will realize that, I can learn something from this brother here. Let me just stay and learn enough. And when I learn enough, I'll go on my own. This has happened before. How many times before this has happened? Yes? Then having that witchcraft, irresistible fascination, they want their own assembly. In Exodus 22:18, it speaks about witchcraft. Exodus 22:18.
Thou shalt not suffer a witch to live.
So, spiritually, it becomes a sin unto death. It becomes a sin unto death. If you're in an assembly and you go a whoring after the leadership of the assembly, this is a sin unto death. Witchcraft. So, an irresistible influence or fascination will produce what? Rebellion. Rebellion. So, rebellion comes next. When they have this irresistible fascination with the assembly, then they will start to rebel. 1 Samuel 15:23. And that is in the realm of witchcraft. 1 Samuel 15:23.
For rebellion is as the sin of witchcraft, and stubbornness as iniquity and idolatry. Because thou hast rejected the word of Yahuwah, he hath also rejected thee from being king.
So, rebellion is as the sin of witchcraft, and stubbornness is as iniquity and idolatry. So, you see the first two ones that we use: idolatry and witchcraft, rebellion and stubbornness. So, they refuse to listen to the leader. They will come to a point when they will refuse to listen to the leader of the assembly. They will become stubborn, that is idolatry. And they will rebel, which is witchcraft. The first two sins that we looked at. Yes? But they don't know that because they have rejected the word of Yahuwah, he has also rejected them from being leaders. So they will see things working out for them, not knowing that they have already been rejected. I have seen this in living color. So they are blinded into disobedience by witchcraft. Now this people, there are people who wish to be gathered with us. This is for you. Yes? We are in the last day of the Feast of Tabernacles, when we tabernacle together, when we gather together, when we dwell together like the children of Yashar in the wilderness. That is what it's about. That is why the Most High is sending you this message at this time. Because you wish to tabernacle together. He's giving you instructions and insights that we did not have before. If we had these before, we would have been better off. But now you are getting the benefit from those who have learned from errors and from things that have transpired. Okay? Listen very carefully. So, blinded into disobedience by witchcraft. Because let me tell you something. I don't want to be gathered with people. I know how dangerous it is to be gathered with people who are not right. Galatians 3, verse 1. Blinded into disobedience by witchcraft. Galatians 3:1.
O foolish Galatians, who hath bewitched you?
Who hath what?
Bewitched you,
Witchcraft. Continue.
that ye should not obey the truth.
So, when witchcraft is there, you are not going to be able to obey the truth. Continue.
Before whose eyes Yahushua HaMashiach hath been evidently set forth, crucified among you.
Who hath bewitched you? That ye should not obey the truth. So when witchcraft comes in, they will not be able to obey the truth. So when witchcraft comes, then the next thing that comes is hatred. Hatred. The Greek word ekthra, which means enmity, cause of enmity, hostility, by implication, a reason for opposition. So now, having set up this disobedience, then comes enmity. the person in charge becomes their enemy. They make a cause of enmity. They create hostility. They come up with a reason for opposition. Let's go to Sirach 28, verse 3 and verse 5. Now, when they come up with this enmity, with this hostility, what happens? They believe that everything is good. It is the will of the Most High. But the Most High does not hear you when you bear hatred. 28, verses 3 and 5. Sirach 28.
Ecclesiastes, yeah.
Yes, Ecclesiasticus 28, verses 3 and 5.
Only in the 12, Elder.
Huh?
Ecclesiastes.
Ecclesiasticus. Sorry. Sirach.
I don't think this one has.
Okay, all right. All right. Ecclesiasticus 28, verse 3. One man beareth hatred against another, and doth he seek pardon from Yahuwah? No forgiveness. If I am hating you, the Most High is not gonna pardon me if I'm in any form of trouble. Verse 5. If he that is but flesh nourish hatred, who will entreat for pardon of his sins? Who will pardon his sins? Not Yahuwah. So there is no forgiveness of sins for those who are in hatred. 1 John 2:11.
But he that hateth his brother is in darkness, and walketh in darkness, and knoweth not whither he goeth, because that darkness hath blinded his eyes.
Because that darkness has blinded his eyes. If we hate our brother, we are in darkness. So when somebody comes now in an assembly and tries to turn over the assembly with their hatred, with their enmity, with their hostility, by their reason of opposition, they don't know that they are in darkness and walk in darkness, and they do not know that they do not know where they are going. They are blinded. So they are there scheming and planning, not knowing that the Most High has already blinded their eyes. They are being led by Belial. Read verse 1 John 2:11 again, please.
But he that hateth his brother is in darkness, and walketh in darkness, and knoweth not whither he goeth, because that darkness hath blinded his eyes.
Because that darkness hath blinded his eyes. That's hatred. But that person does not stop there. After hatred comes variance. Variance or variance. Now, variance is contention, strife, wrangling, quarrel, difference, disagreement, dissension, dispute. After the hatred has to be played out. Because remember, he is in darkness and walking in darkness, so he will be walking in all of these negative things, thinking that is okay, thinking that he's doing the right thing. Because guess how he will be thinking that he's doing the right thing? When he comes and rebels against the assembly, and the assembly hits back at him, he will now blame the assembly for every single thing that is done. Everything that the assembly does now is wrong, and he is right. So he is in contention, strife, wrangling, quarrel, difference, disagreement, dissension, dispute, and cannot see it because the hatred has blinded his eyes. Now, variance, the dictionary meaning of variance. The fact, quality, or state of being variable or variant. Difference, variation. The factor or state of being in disagreement, dissension, dispute. Now let's look at some scriptures with variance. 1 Corinthians 14:34. Now, let's get an understanding of this. In 1 Corinthians 14:34, it speaks about women being in silence in the assemblies. There is a reason for this. It is to prevent variance. to prevent contention, strife, wrangling, quarrel, difference, disagreement, dissension, and dispute. 1 Corinthians 14:34.
Let your women keep silence in the churches, for it is not permitted unto them to speak, but they are commanded to be under obedience, as also saith the law.
They are commanded to be under obedience. Now, variance is very, very critical, because if you are under obedience, there will be no variance. Look at the top there. Contention, strife. If you are under obedience, how can you contend? How can you strive? How can you wrangle? How can you quarrel? How can you have difference? How can you be in disagreement? How can you have dissension? How can you have dispute if you're under obedience? You can't. So obedience is critical to variance. We have to be obedient, or else there will be variance. Verse 35.
And if they will learn anything, let them ask their husbands at home, for it is a shame for a woman to speak in the church.
If they will learn anything, let them ask their husbands at home. Why ask their husband at home? Why not ask their husband in the assembly? Because when they're at home, the husband and the wife can speak it out. So if the wife is a rebellious wife, they deal with it outside of the assembly, so there is no variance, no contention, strife, wrangling, quarrel, difference, disagreement, dissension, or dispute in the assembly. All right? 1 Corinthians 14:40.
Let all things be done decently and in order.
That's it. When things are done decently and in order, there is no variance. Everything will be in order. No contention, no strife, no nothing like that. Now pass my shirt, please. Ayonia. Nothing like that in the assembly. 2 Corinthians 13:11. These things prevent variance. If you want your assembly to be in harmony, you must be of one mind. Now remember, there was someone passing through the other day and asking, how do we handle people being gathered to us with differing opinions? And it was one of the strangest questions I've ever heard. Because how can we expect to be together with people who have differing opinions? We must be of one mind. Read 2 Corinthians 13:11, please.
Finally, brethren, farewell. Be perfect, be of good comfort, be of one mind, live in peace, and Yahuwah of love and peace shall be with you.
Be of one mind, live in shalom. If you are not of one mind, if you are gathered together with people who have differing opinions, how can you be of one mind? And if you are not of one mind, how can you live in peace? So to think to be gathered with people who have differing opinions, that is not of the Most High. The Most High is one order. The Most High says, obey them that have the rule over you, for they watch for your soul. He gives you someone to watch for your soul, who has the rule over you. When we are together, we must be of one mind, one heart, one soul, for there to be righteousness dwelling among us. Acts 2:46.
And they, continuing daily with one accord in the temple.
They continuing daily with what?
One accord in the
One
temple.
accord. One accord, one mind, one heart, one soul. That is what prevents variance. Without that, there is going to be variance. Yes? There is going to be contention, strife, wrangling, quarrel, difference, disagreement, dissension, dispute. And if that is in the assembly, this can wreck the entire assembly. Okay? Read Acts 2:46 in its entirety, please. To 47.
And they, continuing daily with one accord in the temple, and breaking bread from house to house, did eat their meat with gladness and singleness of heart, praising Allah and having favor with all the people. And Yahuwah added to the church daily such as should be saved.
All right. They continuing daily with one accord in the temple and breaking bread from house to house, this is oneness, did eat their meat with gladness and singleness of heart. Singleness of heart, togetherness, praising Allah and having favor with all the people. Why? Because the people see a bunch of people who are in total unity. Total unity. And Yahuwah added to the congregation daily such as should be saved. So it's the Most High who adds to us and adds to our gathering. That's variance. Now, after variance, they are not satisfied. They are not done wrecking the assembly. They are not even halfway through as yet. Then comes emulations. Emulation. The word emulation, zealous, excitement of mind, ardor, fervor of zeal, a zeal, ardor in embracing, pursuing, defending anything, the fierceness of indignation, punitive zeal, an envious and contentious rivalry. That's the one that I like. An envious and contentious rivalry takes place. Yes? So now, with the contention, with everything, comes the rivalry. Let's look at an example of emulation, taking over or trying to take over leadership. 2 Maccabees 4, verse 7. You have it?
Yes.
Go ahead.
But after the death of Seleucus, when Antioch called Epiphanes took the kingdom, Iaconon, the brother of Oniahu, labored underhand to be high priest.
They did what? Labored underhand. That term there, labored underhand, which means he worked from behind the scenes deceptively to be high priest. That is emulation. He wanted to be high priest, so he had an envious and contentious rivalry, an envious and contentious zeal, fervor of ruach to be high priest. And let's see what he did in order to achieve it. Verse 8.
Promising unto the king by intercession 360 talents of silver, and of any other revenue.
Of another revenue.
And of another revenue, 80 talents.
So, the promise. Now, when people undertake these things, they usually have people with them because they know that they alone cannot topple an assembly. They cannot overtake an assembly by themselves. So they will bring people with them, and with them, this Bible is telling me, this word is telling me that they will give promises to people in order to get their way. Because verse 9 tells you about promise again.
Beside this, he promised to assign 150 more, if he might have license to set up a place for exercise, and for the training up of youth in the fashions of the heathen, and to write them of Jerusalem by the name of Antiochus.
So this man here was willing to go into more unrighteousness in order to get the position. He was willing to set up a place for exercise, which was totally unknown to our people, in the fashion of the heathen, and to write them of Jerusalem by the name of Antiochans. So in other words, they call themselves in the name of the heathen. All of this to get high priest. This is emulation. This is what happens in the assembly when people want to take the assembly apart. They want to be the leader. Emulation means to emulate means to follow. So they now want to follow and be that leader. Now, through all of this, what comes next is wrath. Because in striving to go after this, they will want to zealously get what they want, and so they will get excited in anger, passionate in anger. The word wrath there is thumos. It means passion, angry, heat, anger forthwith boiling up and soon subsiding again. passion as if breathing hard. So they get into a quick temper. They get into quick tempers and get angry. Because what? They want to take over the assembly. Remember when we said before, one of the great cause in the assembly is I am right and you are wrong. If we go to Romans 4, verse 15.
Because the law worketh wrath, for where no law is, there is no transgression.
The law worketh wrath. So you see, as long as we are gathered together, and the law is the core decider of righteousness, there is going to be wrath. That is why when you look to the law and say, oh, Exodus such and such says such and such, you are wrong, you are wrong. It says the law worketh wrath. This is what causes all the problems. Self-righteousness, self-justification, based on the Torah. Proverbs 14:29.
He that is slow to wrath is of great understanding, but he that is hasty of spirit exalteth folly.
If we are slow to wrath, we are of great understanding. So when someone in the assembly now steps into passion and gets angry, yes, they will lose their understanding. Thinking that they understand, their anger takes away their understanding. And they will be hasty of ruach, and they will exalt folly. They will be doing nothing but foolishness. And that foolishness that they're doing will bring them to the next level, which is strife. So because they will be exalting folly, they will be in strife. Erythea, which means faction, contention, contentious. They will now start striving with the leaders of the assembly. From G2042 to stimulate, especially to anger. So strife comes from carnality, because when one comes from idolatry to witchcraft to hatred to variance, that person is carnal. Wrath, carnal. Strife, carnal. 1 Corinthians 3:3 tells us that when there is strife, it is caused by carnality. Remember, at the beginning, we said that when you're not walking in the Ruach, you'll be walking in the works of the flesh.
For ye are yet carnal, for whereas there is among you envying and strife and divisions, are ye not carnal and walk as men?
Are you not carnal and walk as men? When there is strife, there is carnality. And when there is carnality, there cannot be the Ruach Mashiach. There is no Ruach Mashiach. Philippians 2:3.
Let nothing be done through strife or vainglory, but in lowliness of mind let each other esteem other better than themselves.
Let each esteem other better than themselves. So, when we are doing things through strife, the remedy for that is for us to have lowliness of mind and to esteem each other better. Esteem the other person better than ourselves. That is the remedy for strife. But sadly, when someone is carnal, it is almost impossible for them to reach to that point. When in the first place, we should have denied ourselves in the first place and be able to esteem others better than ourselves, to put ourselves down to nothing. So in essence, where we are so far, if you are in an assembly and you cannot give up on yourself and you have not denied yourself, then there is going to be problems upon problems upon problems. This, people, will destroy any assembly. That is why it's important to make sure you know who you are gathering with. James 3:16.
James 3:16. For where envying and strife is, there is confusion and every evil work.
Where there is envy, and we're going to see envying again later on, and strife, there is confusion and every evil work. So how can I come up striving and think that there is righteousness? There will be confusion and every evil work. So when it reaches to this stage, the whole entire assembly will be plunged into confusion. Our assembly went through this. Everything that I'm telling you here. Same stages. Plunged into confusion. And what comes next? Sedition. Many people do not stop to understand or check out the meaning of this word. But it's very simple. Dichostia, dichostasia, disunion, that is figuratively dissension, division, sedition. Now, one of the meaning is dissension, and the meaning of dissension is disagreement, especially partisan and contentious quarreling. So because the assembly has been plunged into confusion, and there is strife and wrangling and everything, then there is disagreement, partisan and contentious quarreling. So there will be factions now, and this faction will be quarreling against this faction. Yes? This is dissension. Now, this sedition is separate from variance. Because variance, when there is a division in variance, is it variance? Yes. When there's a division with variance, there is no breaking up. But with sedition, the attempt is to dismantle the assembly, to break it up. So sedition comes when we are not in one accord, as we know. 1 Corinthians 1, verse 10.
Now I beseech you, brethren, by the name of Adonai Yahushua HaMashiach, that you all speak the same thing, and that there be no divisions among you.
No divisions, no sedition among you. Continue.
But that ye
Be perfectly joined together in the same mind and in the same judgment. So that person who asks, how do you deal with people who have differing opinion? That person obviously does not understand how critical it is for us to be joined together in the same mind and be in the same judgment. Without it, there will be sedition. If you come together with someone who has a differing mind and opinion and all of that, that person is going to draw persons to them. Don't think that that person is going to leave it. Oh, we have different opinions. It's okay for us to coexist. No. These works of the flesh are going to take place. They don't just stay in isolation. When you are in sin, one sin works upon another, pulls another, pulls another. You're not just going to sit there like that and say, oh, we have differing opinions. People are going to be acting upon their opinions sooner or later. That is why I tell people, when we are together, if you disagree with anything or you see something differently, bring it to us. Let us talk about it. Probably you teach me something. Probably I teach you something. But in the end, there will be no disunion. There will be no variance. There will be no divisions among us. Verse 11.
For it hath been declared unto me of you, my brethren, by them which are of the house of Chloe, that there are contentions among you.
All right, so this is what with sedition. With all of the process, there is contention. With strife, there is contention. Emulations, contention. There are contentions, and guess what the contention is about? Verse 12.
Now this I say, that every one of you saith, I am of Paul, and I of Apollos, and I of Cephas, and I of Mashiach.
So we see there, when there is sedition, it comes to the point where people start taking sides. This is when the assembly starts breaking up. Those persons go over there. Oh, I am on this side. Oh, I am not with you. Oh, I am with him. Oh, I am this. I am of this. I am of that. Sedition. This is a process, people. If you are gathered together with sinners, These are the things that potentially can take place and will take place if you are gathered together with unbelievers. Then the next step is heresies. Heresies. Now, heresy is a disunion, a sect. So when people start claiming, I am of such and I am of the other, what do you think happens? People break off, and then people now start their own doctrine. This has been our experience. People come with differing doctrine. If I had understood this before, when all of this happened to us a long time ago, it happened to us. When all of this had happened to us, I would have understood and I would have been smiling. But then I did not understand it. It is only when going through all of these then I realized, hey, this is what happened. So, forming sects, S-E-C-T-S, that go against what is taught in the assembly, that is heresies. Forming sects that go against what is taught in the assembly. So, heresies is adherence to a religious opinion contrary to the assembly dogma. So, contrary to what the assembly believes in, these people follow that. Dissent or deviation from a dominant theory, opinion, or practice. Same thing. Deviating and going their own way. Now hear this one. An opinion, doctrine, or practice contrary to the truth or to generally accepted beliefs or standards. So when they form this sect, they now will have to find something to differentiate them from you. So they were in the assembly, they want to break away. They cannot break away and be saying the same thing that you said. So what do? They form sects, coming up with their own doctrines, with their own beliefs, to make you feel that, hey, we're different from them. We know more than them. We are better than them. Yes? And with that is mixed up envyings. Envyings. So when they form their sect, they will now have ill will. That is jealousy and spite. So having formed that sect now, they want to get at the assembly through jealousy, through detraction. And detraction is a very important word because detraction means a lessening of reputation or esteem, especially by envious, malicious, or petty criticisms, belittling, disparagement. Yes? So they will belittle you, they will criticize you, they will try to lessen your reputation or esteem, they will be envious and will be malicious, belittling. Okay? This is what happens. Envyings. The dictionary says envying is a painful or resentful awareness of an advantage enjoyed by another, joined with a desire to possess the same advantage. This is why they break up. They are envious of the advantage that one has. Then they want to have the same advantage, and so they do everything that it takes to rip it apart. Now, envying is also carnal and brings confusion and every evil work as well. That verse that we look at with, what was it, strife? Yeah. James 3:16, for where envying and strife is, there is confusion and every evil word. Every evil word. Then after that comes murder. Murder. Now the word murder here is, can be misleading. You would think about somebody slaying someone. Because the word murder means to be slain with slaughter. But the dictionary meaning of murder is also means to put an end to destroy. So through the envyings and wanting an advantage, that person will want to destroy that assembly. They will want to destroy that assembly. Now, let me tell you something. We can start at any part along this way, because we had people who are envious and they seek to put down the assembly. We have seen people at different levels of each and every one of these of this list. So we have murder, and it says sometimes used figuratively. So murder is not always literal. It can mean to put an end to. So the persons can strive to put an end to the assembly. And we have seen this in live and living color here. And one person took it upon themselves, saying that after the two assemblies split, long afterwards, one person said they're going to destroy both of the assemblies. And what they're going to do, I can't even say what they plan to do. And they started executing their plan. This is how evil, people, you don't understand how evil people can be. But the Most High put a stop to the plan and put a permanent stop to that person's plan, so that it is now impossible for that person to execute his plan. Because the Most High watches over his assemblies. But he started with one assembly and wanted to go after the other one. And the Most High put an end to him. So after murder comes drunkenness. Now, drunkenness is another interesting one, because drunkenness actually implies that they have gone back into Babylon. They have gone backwards. When you get caught up in drunkenness, you are gone backwards. And this is what happened to that person who said they were going to destroy the two assemblies, and who was actually stopped. Gone back into the drunkenness of Babylon, gone back to the old ways, because the Most High, his Ruach, will not rest with people who have this evil heart. Drunkenness, Jeremiah 51, verse 7.
Babylon hath been a golden cup in Yahuwah's hand, that made all the earth drunken. The nations have drunken of her wine, therefore the nations are mad.
Therefore the nations are mad. Made all the earth drunken. So this drunkenness is after the murder, after they try to destroy. Then they will go back into Babylon and be caught up in Babylon. Revelation 18:3 says,
For all nations have drunk of the wine of the wrath of her fornication.
so this is what happens. The person goes right back into drunkenness, right back into sin. Right back into sin. And then,
And the kings of the earth have committed fornication with her, and the merchants of the earth have waxed rich through the abundance of her delicacies.
all right, so this is it. Gone right back into Babylon. Gone right back into drunkenness. And Luke 21:34, you can read that on your own. Then after drunkenness, then comes revelings. This is the final one. Revelings. Revelings is a carousal, as if a letting loose. So when they have gone through all of this process, they will go right back into sin. Right back into sin, which is what happened to that person that I told you that swore that he would destroy both assemblies. And no one in the assembly did him anything. I'm gonna tell you how dangerous this is. This is a person who came in and we baptized him and he was here with us, and all of a sudden you don't see him. And after that, his heart was hell-bent on destroying everything. Nobody made him enemy. Nobody. He just decided that he was going to do it. And went right back into sin. So revelings is a carousal, as if a letting loose. The carousal to carouse from the dictionary means to drink liquor freely or excessively. That means that getting drunken with Babylon, caught up totally in Babylon. No return. To take part in a carouse, engage in dissolute behavior. Now, revelings brings us right back into our past life of sin. It is going right back to our past, going right back. As 1 Peter 4 verse 3 says,
For the time past of our life may suffice for us to have wrought the will of the Gentiles, when we walked in lasciviousness, lusts, excess of wine, revelings, banquetings, and abominable idolatries.
So this should have been our past. But we have gone right back into the past because we allowed ourselves through our corruption to go through this process to try to destroy, to try to go against, to try to oppose, to try to disobey, to try to belittle everything that we went through. And now we have gone back into lasciviousness, into lust, into excess of wine. We have gone right back into revelings, into banquetings and abominable idolatries. And we have gone right back into ruin. So we strove to destroy the assembly, but look what happens in the end. We ourselves end up being what? Destroyed. We went out to destroy the assembly, but we ended up being destroyed. Simply because we were unrighteous believers. And we did not deny ourselves. We did not decide that we were going to obey Yahusha and deny ourselves. I am telling you something, people. Before you gather together, some people who have been familiar with me have heard me say it over and over again. Deny self. Deny self. Deny self. Don't think you're going to be gathered together with people if you do not deny yourself. It is going to be a failure in some way or another. If you do not fall through this process, then you will fall in another way. You will end up sinning against the Most High. You will end up doing something that is unrighteous. Yes? People, if any man come after me, let him deny himself. So where I want to end today, let me go. Is it 1 Peter? First Peter 2 verse 19. This is how you must be, people. Get yourself ready. If you are not like this or ready to be like this, then your gathering together with people might end up in disaster. Will most likely end up in disaster. That is, unless you have humility and you have a heart and a mind for change and you love rebuke and you love reproof and you want to be corrected and you just striving to make it and will do anything to make it. And you will deny yourself along the way. 1 Peter 2:19.
For this is thankworthy, if a man for conscience towards Yahuwah endure grief, suffering wrongfully.
Yes.
For what glory is it if, when ye be buffeted for your faults, ye shall take it patiently? But if, when ye do well and suffer for it, ye take it patiently, This is acceptable with allure.
Do you see the type of people who need to be gathered together? If a man for conscience toward allure endure grief, suffering wrongfully, these are the people who are to be gathered together. Not those who stand up and say, I am right. No, I am not going to do this. I'm not going to do it. I am right. He is wrong. No, you cannot tell me anything. This is what people in the world do, people. What difference is it from us? What difference are we from them? This is what they do. They argue because they are right. But a true believer is, if any man be in Mashiach, is a new creature. A true believer will not hold on to what they think is right. They will seek peace and holiness. They will do anything for peace. They will give up their rights for the sake of peace. People will look on them as being stupid, as being foolish, as being soft. But they do it for the sake of peace. For what splendor is it when ye be buffeted for your faults, ye shall take it patiently. So you're wrong. And if you're patient while someone is telling you that you're wrong, there is no great thing about it. But when you're right, and you take it patiently and suffer, that is acceptable with allure. That means the Most High is not pleased when you are saying, you are right, you are wrong, I am right. That is not acceptable with him. What is acceptable is when you are right and you accept it as if you are wrong. Suffering for it wrongfully. Verse 21.
For even hereunto were ye called, because Mashiach also suffered for us, leaving us an example that ye should follow his steps.
Leaving us an example. So we should follow Mashiach. Remember what we said earlier when we laid the foundation. It's about Mashiach. It is being like him. It is abiding in him. It is walking as he walked. Yes? That is how you have a successful assembly. Without Mashiach, your assembly today cannot succeed because Babylon has polluted our minds and our hearts and our souls so much and has corrupted us with its greed and covetousness. If you come together without Yahushua HaMashiach, then it will be one big disaster. It has to be people who have the likeness of a Mashiach, who are willing to give up, willing to suffer wrongfully for righteousness' sake. Continue.
Who did no sin, neither was guile found in his mouth. Who, when he was reviled, reviled not again. When he suffered, he threatened not, but committed himself to him that judgeth righteously.
So this is what we need to be like. When he was reviled, when he was mocked, when he was jeered, he did not revile again. When he suffered, he threatened not. And he could more than threaten, but committed himself to him that judgeth righteously, to the Most High. This is how we need to be when we get together, people. This is how we need to be. Verse 24.
Who his own self bare our sins in his own body on the tree, that we, being dead to sins, should live unto righteousness, by whose stripes ye were healed.
For ye were, verse 25, for ye were
as sheep going astray, but are now turned unto the shepherd and bishop of your souls.
So you see how you are returned to the shepherd and bishop of your souls, being like harmless lambs, just like our good shepherd. Okay? And that is the only way people can coexist. People willing to give up their rights, people willing to take wrong, even though they know they are right. People willing to suffer wrongfully. Yes? Yada Yahuwah. So those are the 13 sins in line that will destroy any assembly that you have to be aware of. You have to deny self, people, if you are willing to, if you are going to be gathered together. What we have is not church. Church is a disaster. And by the way, this teaching here again shows up church to be a fallacy. To have sinners in there. That is why church is a farce today, because it is a place of sinners. And what do sinners do when they are gathered together? They sin. Simple. And so you have sin upon sin upon sin in the churches. That is why today, when you see videos in churches, it is remarkable the things that the videos that you see. They are sick, mad, crazy. They have some dancing now, some twerking dancing in churches. That's now the new thing that's going around. What a madness. Because these are sinners doing what sinners do. They are just there, putting on clothes that appear to be righteous, but doing what sinners do. All right? This is for those people who wish to be gathered with people, so you are aware. Yes? You are aware of what is needed. You are aware of what you need to do before you are gathered. And you are aware of people, how you will not be able to judge other people. All right? Thank you. Let me see if there is, Let me see what is. If you have any questions, could you please leave them there, please? Related questions, please. I'm going to say, what is the decree referred to in Zephaniah chapter 2, verse 2? Zephaniah 2:2. Before the decree bring forth. The word decree there is an appointment of time. Appointment. And that appointment is what? The wrath of Yahuwah. That is the decree, the wrath of Yahuwah. Before the day of Yahuwah pass as the chaff. Before the first anger, the wrath of Yahuwah come upon you. Before the day of Yahuwah's anger cometh upon you, this is the day of Yahuwah, the day of his fierce wrath. This is the decree. Let me get probably some references to it. All right. Let me get some prophecy. Remember Joel. Isaiah 61 verse 2 though.
Isaiah 61:2.
Yeah.
To proclaim the acceptable year of Yahuwah and the day of vengeance of our Lord, to comfort all that mourn.
All right, before you go any further, notice this here, to proclaim the acceptable year of Yahuwah and the day of vengeance. This is where what has not yet been fulfilled. Everything before the day of vengeance has been fulfilled. To show you that this day of Yahuwah, it is what is going to signal the return of Hamashiach. Yes? And that we have to get ourselves and gather ourselves together before this day. All of these things have already taken place when Yahushua Mashiach was here, from verse 1 into the start of verse 2. But from the day of vengeance has not yet taken place. So this is why in Zephaniah 2 it says we must gather together before this day happens. Because when this day happens, it will be irreversible. Because if we are among the heathen, among the sinners, then we will be partakers of our sins and we will receive of her plagues. Okay? Now verse 3. Read verse 3.
To appoint unto them that mourn in Zion, to give unto them beauty for ashes.
To appoint unto them that mourn in Zion. You notice, it is in Zion. It is not to those that mourn, period. That mourn in Zion. His attention, his focus When this day of vengeance come, his focus will be on Zion. That is why I tell people, get yourselves into the land. These things were hidden from us and veiled. We did not realize or understand them. It is now over time we are getting more and more understanding. The Most High wants you to ask your way to Zion. So when the day comes, and if you are not in Zion, you are not caught, gather together to go into Zion. Hey, his mercy will not be upon you. You will be in the midst of Babylon, partaking of her sins and receive of her plagues. Anyway, what Joel again? Joel 2. The day of Yahuwah. Let's look at another day of Yahuwah. Probably if we look at all the day of Yahuwah, we'll get more hint as to the end times. But Joel 2:1. Read it, please.
Blow ye the trumpet in Zion, and sound
In where?
in Zion.
Again. Go again.
Blow ye the trumpet in Zion, and sound an alarm in my holy mountain. Let all the inhabitants of the land tremble, for the day of Yahuwah cometh, for it is nigh at hand.
Let all the inhabitants of where?
Zion.
Of the land. You say you're telling people that you must be in the land. For the day of Yahuwah cometh, for it is nigh at hand. Anyway, let's get back to the questions. Ezekiel 17:24 is saying the last shall be first and the first shall be last. In reference to fleeing, is it biblical for me to forsake my husband to flee when I am to be in subjection to him? My spouse is a deacon in church. No. Most I said, I'm taking you one of a city, two of a family, two of a household, and bring you to Zion. We read earlier when Mashiach said, if any man hate not his father, mother, he cannot be my disciple. Now, apart from that, I'm just saying that, apart from that, I cannot teach faith. I'm telling people, and I've been telling people, I cannot teach emunah. These are decisions that people have to make themselves. Yes? I cannot tell you what to do about you and your husband. You have to decide that. Yes? You have people who have certain level of faith and they say certain things. I'm going to do this and I don't care because I don't want to this and that. And you have some people who say, well, I can't do this and I can't do this. This is up to you what you want to do. All right? It is up to you what you want to do. I cannot tell you what to do because it is your emunah that is going to make you do what you have to do. All right. An irresistible influence is created by influencers. I find it odd that the words sects, and sex sound identical. Babylon treats sex exactly like the definition of sects, S-E-C-T-S. Envy is the root of all evil, in my opinion. It is humbling to learn that we have some work to do in preparation for the gathering. Have to step all the way up, otherwise we would be fooling ourselves. Exactly, Yahuwah's daughter. That is my sentiment. We have to step all the way up. People think that it's just leaving, and coming together. This is the error that we made. Everybody who wants to come, they say, hey, we want to come. I say, okay, come. That was the error we made. No emphasis on righteousness. just whosoever will may come. And it ended up as church. That is church. Yes? It cannot be like that. People have to be prepared, or else we are going to be fooling ourselves. Yes. Yada Yahuwah, Joshua. All right. All right, so if there's nothing else, we're going to be going. And shalom to all on YouTube. Shalom, 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 shalom. All right.